move in that direction, because the only way we're going to liberate our people is if we begin to change. So I want to bring up my next sister, whom I love so much. She is a founder of the UIP, Urban Youth Initiative Project. She is a co-owner of Woto Development Center. She's a doula, lactation counselor. She is a poet. She is Ife Assata Fatiu.
And that's one of the most spoken greetings, was one of the most spoken greetings and written greetings in ancient Kemet. Our ancestors believed in willing things into existence. The more we spoke it, the more we thought it, the more it would take place, it would manifest itself. So what I just spoke to y'all was life, prosperity, health, and happiness. So I'm willing that into existence for all of you. And before I go any further, I gotta give thanks to the Creator. Y'all clap it up for the Creator, for the divine. Whoever you may call that Creator, God, Amun-Ra, Oludumare, Jesus, Allah, whatever you call that Creator. But I give thanks for waking me up this morning and giving me the strength and courage to face another day. Because I know I'm not the only one who, sometimes it's hard. Sometimes you don't feel like getting out the bed. Sometimes you want to turn your phone off and say, leave me alone, and go off on somebody. So I'm just, you know. But I'm just grateful for not only waking up this morning, but being here in front of all of you and being able to deliver a message. Because some people are not able to speak. Some people is not comfortable speaking in front of an audience. So I'm just grateful for that. And I got to give thanks to PLM, Pan-Afrikan Liberation Movement. Y'all give it up for PLM. PLM provided this platform for my sister Harmony and I to speak on today, as well as the platform for Dr. Patricia Newton to speak on tomorrow. And not just that, but PLM helped cultivate us. You know, our parents gave birth to us. Our parents instilled a lot of great things in us, but we learned a lot of wonderful things by being a part of such a great organization. And not just an organization, a family, because we're a family here. So I gotta give thanks to PLM. I gotta give thanks to my biological family for always coming through and supporting me and being there for me. And I gotta highlight my husband back there, my pillar, the strength, the guy who makes me smile when I'm crying or I feel like crying, the guy who is the wisdom that I need, or that voice of reasoning that I need. And my warrior son, warrior spirited son, Nyame. If y'all have not checked out Nyame, you have to check him out on Facebook, on Woto Development Center Facebook page, or my YouTube page, Ife Fatiu. Please help us spread the word. But I gotta give thanks to all of you as well for being here. Y'all clap it up for yourselves. Y'all came out tonight to listen to two sisters, and not just that, you stuck around for me, because my sister lit it on fire up here, to the point that Sister Marilyn had to put it out with some water, you know, so it was hot up here, and you stuck around for me, so I'm grateful for that. And you look beautiful, you know, so you're not just sitting out there just listening, y'all look good too. Y'all look good. So today's topic is sisterhood. Let the sisterhood be unbroken. So we wanted to start with defining what is a sisterhood. So if I'm talking about let it be unbroken, what is a sisterhood? But if you was to look it up online or look in your paperback dictionary, it pretty much say a bond between two or more women. Two or more women with some sort of commonality, be it religion, association, or organization, whatever the case may be. You come together with that bond. But you're not just coming together with the bond, but you have to be able to stay together, stay glued together. So it's going to take certain types of ingredients to make that happen. But the sisters, it's not a feminist group. A lot of people misinterpret it as though we come together, we talking about men, we putting men down, we're going to emasculate, men ain't nothing, you know, all men are dogs, you know, and that's really a woman that's hurting. That's in a lot of pain, and she don't know how to voice that pain. But that's not what the sisterhood is about. It's to help her heal. So we're not putting our men down. We're not putting other sisters down. We're not gossiping. And we're coming and we're healing in every aspect. Mentally, physically, spiritually. We're sharing recipes. We're telling each other how to, what's good to put on your skin or what's good to put in your hair. You know, how to take care of that acne. So on all levels, and we're supporting each other. We're nurturing each other. That's in our nature, to nurture. So we're doing that when we come together as a group, come together as sisters. And Dr. Marimba Ani, if y'all familiar with her, if you're not, you got to get familiar. She's going to be at PLM's Pan-Afrikan Symposium on September the 13th. Yeah, tickets on sale now, so you got to check her out. But she's not the only one that's going to be on the symposium. Also, Dr. Patricia Newton, who will be here tomorrow, and Rakiti Yamen. So it's going to be feminine energy that whole day. But what she tells us is we got to put things in its proper context. You know, so if I was to tell you that I'm a great singer and my sister is a phenomenal musician, and when we come together, we make melody. What would you say to me? That's not how you spell melody? So if I was to use that word, what definition would you arrive at? So if you wasn't familiar with this word, what definition would you arrive at?
You just created it.
Right, so you arrive at the wrong conclusion, the wrong definition. So you arrive at, what we're taught in school is you got to use context clues. So if you didn't already know this word, based on the sentence that I gave you, you arrive at the wrong conclusion of this, the wrong definition of this. And we're taken out of our context, African people, our people. And since we're taken out of our context, we're arriving at the wrong definition of self, what a woman is, what African people is. So we're submerged in another people's culture that is a malady to our spirit, to our being. It's a disease, it's an illness, and it's affecting us in every aspect. That's why we have the brokenness that my sister Harmony spoke about. That's why we have the pathologies that we have that make it hard for women to come together and heal and develop each other. So we got to acknowledge these melodies, and we got to put things in its proper perspective and embrace our culture. So when you're looking at an African-centered sisterhood, and I'm not talking about a group of women that's embracing the aesthetics of African culture, that's wearing a beautiful African print and wearing the jewelry and saying Hotep or Uncle Johnson Eb Nefer. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about changing your mode of thinking, changing the way you see things, changing the way you do things. Because if you know Ma'at, if you're familiar with Ma'at and the 10 principles of Ma'at, the first one is control your thoughts. The second one is control your actions. So we know if we was to control our thoughts, automatically we're going to control our actions. So we have to embrace our culture. So when you're looking at an African-centered sisterhood, you're looking at it sisters that's coming together and they healing and they developing and they nurturing, but they also looking at the betterment of the whole, the betterment of our people. And we know that we're a part of the people. We're not separate from the people because it takes persons to make a people. It takes a person to make a people. You know, so we're a part of that. So we got to look at things from our cultural lens. And I'm going to start with some components that I think is necessary and able to mend that sisterhood and maintain that sisterhood. So we may have some things in common. I might like the fact that the way you have your hair wrapped and how you came in here, how you dress, and the fact that your daughter is around the same age as my son. I say, okay, I want to get that sister number. I want to get a chance to get to know her. But how are we going to be able to maintain that if we come in with these pathologies and these illnesses? So we got to be able to check that stuff. So one of the things I felt like is necessary, and I'm not saying it's exclusive to these things and nothing else matters, but one of the things is love. Forgive my handwriting. It's all good. It's all love here. But we got to have that love. And when I speak about that love, I'm speaking about a withstanding love. A love that's not going to waver because you said something that I don't like or something that's not favorable to me. Or you done something that I dislike. Not something to harm me or intentionally harm me, but something that I just don't like. So I don't mess with you like that no more. I don't want to be a part of the sisterhood. I'm going to change my phone number. I'm not dealing with you no more. I'm not dealing with them no more. It's not that type of mindset. So you got to be able to hang in there through your sister's ups and downs. Because that's life. You're going to have your ups and downs. You're going to have your vicissitudes. So you got to be able to hang in there through it all. And that love is going to withstand. That love is not going to shake or break. You know, whenever she's going through whatever, you still there and you still, sis, I love you. I'm here for you. Whatever you need, I'm here for you because you are my sister. But how can I love you if I don't love me? So you gotta have self-love. You gotta have love for self. And we was looking at a lecture last Sunday in PLM's African Awareness and Critical Thinking Study class right here in this room. And we was looking at a lecture by Dr. Amos Wilson. And he was talking about the male and the female. And he was talking about love. And he was talking about how we have love even without illnesses, but it's a destruction type of love. It's a love that's going to destroy. So I can say I love heroin, I love marijuana, I love to drink alcohol, I love to do these certain things, but what is it doing for me? My being is destroying me. I can say I love that man that's doing me greasy. I know that's cheating on me. He made a baby while we was together. He's beating on me, but I love him. He's not treating me right. He's destroying me. So you got a love from a self-hatred type of standpoint. So you have to be able to really know what love is. A love is not going to destroy you. A love is going to help cultivate you. Love is going to develop you. And you got to know the difference. Only way you're going to know the difference is, y'all know the answer? You got to study. You're going to know the difference and learn to love yourself if you study. Study what? You say, Ife, I'm going for my master's. I study all the time. What are you talking about? But you got to have some self-knowledge. You got to study yourself, your people, where you come from. What did you used to do? So in order for you to love yourself and love your sisters, you got to study who you were. Where did you come from? Dr. Amos Wilson, Dr. Clark, he spoke about history being a compass. If you study who you was, you'll know where you came from, what you did, where you are, who you are, and where you still must go and what you still must do. And you're only going to know that if you study. And once I study, I'm going to love me. I'm going to love what I represent. Once I study, I'm going to learn that it was women that was on that Amistad ship. That it wasn't just Joseph Senku that helped take that ship back to Africa. It was women who was able to roam around freely and help conspire against the slave owners and say, let's take this ship back. You know, so the women had to walk around and figure out what was what and take the information back to the men while the men did what they did. And they wasn't just standing around and standing in the back passively. They was fighting with them. We know that, right? Our women queens was fighting with them. And when you learn stuff like this, it empowers you. It strengthens you. It makes you love who you are. Like, that's what I'm about. That's what I represent. Also, when you study, you'll learn that the women wasn't sitting there looking each other up and down. They ain't had time for that jealousy and all of that nonsense. When you had Queen Nzinga that went and met with the Portuguese, what did she do when they didn't give her a cheer? She sat on a soldier back. Was that a male soldier? That was a female soldier. She said, I need a cheer. And that female soldier got down on all fours. And that meeting took about an hour. And she sat on that sister back. That sister said, ain't messing with you like that. She always got to be in charge. She thinks she know everything. It wasn't that type of attitude. It wasn't that type of party. She knew her place. She knew what she was representing. She knew Nzinga's place. And she knew that both of their parts was just as important as the other. And she played her part. That comes from studying. You will understand that from studying. So it's necessary to study so you know your role as a woman. You know what role we play as women. What role we still need to play. What we need to get back to. And I advise you to study Dr. Marimba Ani, amongst many other people. But Dr. Marimba Ani, to be an African woman, to learn about African women. Because she breaks down certain things that you need to have as a woman. And if you're creating a sisterhood, you're going to have those things within that sisterhood. And you're going to make sure you embody those characteristics. Another thing that we have to have within a sisterhood, and my sister had touched on it, trust. And I'm also speak about honesty. Trust and honesty. We need to trust. We need to be able to trust each other. Trust that you have my back. Trust that you have my best interests at heart. Trust that you are there for me. And I have to be honest with you. See, as she spoke on, we have that brokenness. All of us need to be healed. Ain't none of us is better than the other. All of us is in a Mama Ife, and all of us are hurting. So we got to know that and understand that. So we know that and understand it. When we come together as sisters doing our sisterly duty, we know that we have to shed that hurt and that pain. We have to let go of it. But the only way you can let go of it if you be honest. Don't sit in there in that sister circle in front. That ain't never happened to me. I don't know nothing about that. Now I understand certain things ain't happened to you. Perhaps this sister was raped. This sister was molested. But all of us had some hurt and pain that we need to purge. Whether it's something from your parents, something from an ex, something from your current relationship, your children, we have some hurt and pain that we need to heal from. But you sitting in there all goody two-shoes. I'm good. That happened to you. Oh, I don't know nothing about that. I can't touch on that. But yet, your mother used to get high. Your father used to beat on you. Your boyfriend cheated on you. Some other guy had raped you. You know, so you got all of this hurt and pain that you're just hiding when you come and sit with your sisters. So you're not being honest with yourself and being honest with your sisters. But a lot of times we're not doing that because we don't trust them. Right. We don't trust to let that go and to really shed that stuff. But you got to be able, if you're studying, you got to be able to understand what your sisterhood stands on. It should be built on ma'at. It should be built on truth. You should not be wavering and saying, okay, I don't have this sister's best interest at heart. I'm going to treat her wrong, or I'm going to talk bad about her, or I'm going to put her business out there to the world. We shouldn't be worrying about that type of stuff. If we would be able to really discern from our studies who is good for us, who we should be opening ourselves up to, and who we shouldn't be opening up ourselves to. Because some people, they so far hurt and so far damaged, you got to let somebody else deal with them. Somebody else help them. Or maybe not right now, it's the time for me to reveal this part of me to you. Because you got to be careful who you bearing your soul to. Because everybody don't know how to take that. But you got to be able to bear it to somebody. You got to trust somebody. I know all of us is hurting. You know, we've been through a lot from our families, from our past relationships, from our children. We've been through our communities. We've been through a lot. But we have to be able to shed that. Dr. Naeem Akbar, and we were talking about this in a workshop. I had gave a Wake Up and Rise Up workshop just recently. And we was talking about the 7 communities of self. And one of the communities is memory. And if we keep recalling things that transpire in our past and not really working on healing from this, it's going to hinder us. It's going to prevent us from moving forward. So because a sister betrayed me in the past, and because a sister did me wrong in the past, I don't want to build with Sister Harmony. I don't want to build with Sister Marilyn. I don't want to build with y'all because I'm remembering that hurt and pain. But y'all can be genuine. Y'all can be really trying to help me and assist me in developing and becoming a better woman. But because I recall these things and I'm allowing that to dictate how I move, I'm not giving them a chance. But you got to be able, again, to discern from your studies, if you're studying and you develop that self-love, and you see that love within that sister, and you understand that sister is genuine. That sister had my back. That sister, and you got to look at people's patterns, because people tell you the truth about themselves. We say one thing and do another. So, okay, that sister says she's here for me and she loves me, but how is she behaving? That's going to allow you to see, should I trust her? Should I open up to her? Because I've known her 6 months and she never did me wrong. She never did no sister that I know of wrong. So why not give her a chance? Because at some point, we have to move on. And as Harmony spoke about, we can hold our hurt and pain, and we can hold each other to that for a very long time. But if it's a man, if it's a brother, we can forgive that brother. Am I lying? Am I stepping on some toes?
We'll forgive him quick.
We'll forgive the brother, but we'll hold on to the hurt and pain from the sisters. Brothers, raise your hand if you ever been lied to by a man. Ever been cheated on by a man. Abused by a man. And a lot of times, no, I'm not talking to the brothers, I'm talking to the sisters. Okay. So, so you've been through these things, but yet you still moved on, and most of us are in relationships now. Or we just got out of a relationship. And we don't mind being in another relationship if we're not in a relationship. But we're not holding that brother accountable for the actions of the brothers from our past. But we'll hold every single sister accountable for something a sister did to us in our past. We don't want to move on. We don't want to move on from the sister. So we might bring that hurt and pain in a relationship with the brother. And then we might have a lot of bad mouth and talk crazy and do some things. And he had to assist us in healing and getting past that hurt and pain. But at least we gave him a chance. We won't even give the sister a chance. You know, we won't give her a chance. And what I trip about is within PLM, in my 10 years of being in PLM, I've encountered so many different women, all walks of life. Some that's a little crazy, some not so crazy. Some that's committed, some that's not committed. You know, some that's a little, so I met all types of women. You know, and I embrace them all. And I deal with them all until they attacking me and they doing me wrong. And then I had to make a choice, and I had to defend me. Do I want to tolerate her nonsense and what's going on, and she's using me as a target? Or do I have to say, okay, somebody else, I'm going to have to let somebody else deal with this sister, because this sister's constantly throwing rocks at me, and I can't deal. You know, I had to make that decision. Not because I want to give up on that sister. I don't mind coming back and assisting that sister when she's ready and open to grow and to learn. But what I learned about our sisters, we'll sit back and we'll judge each other quickly. What we should be doing, what we shouldn't be doing, and yet we're not trying to do anything. No. And we don't know what's going on with that sister, what type of help that sister needs, because we're not doing the next one that I'm going to write. We're not being sociable. It's right there. It's right there. It's right there. It's right there. So we're not being sociable and we're not socializing with our sisters. You know, we're being antisocial. That's not African. If you're developing a sisterhood from an African-centered perspective, you know that it's not African to be antisocial. You got to socialize with your sisters. You got to know what's going on with your sisters and your sisterhood, and you got to be socializing with your community. Every person that walked past me, hey sis, how you doing? You look beautiful. Hey, how you doing? How you doing? So we should be able to socialize with each other, because if we're talking about developing our community and healing our communities, how are we going to do that if we don't want to socialize? Right. And we don't want to talk to the people. You know, we don't know what's going on with our people if we're not talking to them. And even within that sisterhood, we don't want to talk to each other and see what's going on with each other. Trust and believe. If you was to talk to Ife, you know that Ife organized like a ton of things. I don't have enough fingers to say all of the things I organize. And I have so many different jobs and positions. Not because I want to do everything myself and I don't want to give another sister a chance, because it's not enough sisters stepping up. I'm not stepping on toes. I'm not attempting to step on toes, but I got to keep it 100 right now. You know, it's not enough sisters stepping up and doing something. If you come talk to Ife and socialize with me, because I'm sociable, I'll let you know, listen, sis, I need help with XYZ. You know, I got a 2.5-year-old son, and anybody know my son, he's a lot of work. Brilliant, but he's a lot of work. You know, I have a husband. I'm not going to get into that, but I have a husband. I have a business that I'm operating. I have a lot of stuff on my plate in addition to all of the things I'm organizing in the community for us. So if you come talk to Ife said, listen, I'll probably give you a whole list of things that you can do and assist me with. But you got to be able to socialize with your sister and know what's what. And in addition to that socialization, us socializing, we got to be able to have an open line of communication with each other within that sisterhood. One thing we fail at, it may be a community, it may be a sisterhood of 10 sisters. And within that sisterhood of 10 sisters, we're only building and communicating with 4 of them. I like these 4 better than the rest of them for whatever reason. Whatever my reasons are. I like these 4 better than the rest of the sisters. So I'm going to deal with these 4 out of the 10. But you got to be able to communicate with each and every sister, because then you're creating cliques. And you're dichotomizing your sisterhood. And it's supposed to be one whole. Yes, it's going to be some sisters you're more comfortable with revealing certain things about your life than others. Some sisters may not be as mature to handle certain situations than other sisters. But when I'm going through something, it shouldn't be only these 4 sisters I'm calling on when I'm going through something. Or when I'm experiencing something in my life, or I got an accomplishment and I want support. I shouldn't only be calling these 4 sisters for support as opposed to connecting with all of my sisters. Because if we're talking about healing and building, you should have an open line of communication with each and every sister within that sisterhood. Another thing that we should have, another component within our sisterhood is, I just touched on it a little bit, support and nurturing. And I say support and nurturing because if my sister telling me that she's going through something, be it good or being bad, I should be there supporting her. I should be there to aid her through that. I should be there cheering her on when she has some type of accomplishment. Whether it's her giving her 5th lecture, and this is my baby sister right here, my youngest sister. She's here at my lecture, and I always, I ain't gonna say always, but this is about my 4th or 5th lecture, but she come and support me at every lecture. This is my biological sister, in addition to all the rest of my sisters in this room. But you should be there to support your sister and let your sister know I'm there for you and I have your back. I'm happy for you. You happy, I'm happy. When Sister Shantae graduated, we was excited and jumping with her. We was at the party with her, getting crunk with her. So you should be there to support your sister. And you should be there to nurture her back to health when she's not in her right state of mind. She's going through something and she feel like she's about to kill everybody in her household. You should come and rescue her.
And rescue them simultaneously.
I know everybody had to have that moment where you felt like you was about to explode on everybody. And one more person say, "Hotep." It could be something just that simple. Because you feeling so bad and upset and hurt and whatever you're going through. Tell me I look good. Because whatever you're going through, but you need your sisters to nurture you back to good health, back to your sanity, where you should be. So we should be supporting and nurturing each other. And last but not least, another component that I wanted to mention is accountability.
Go ahead, Ife, take it easy on me.
We should be wait a minute, I think I misspelled it. I spelled it right? Yes. All right, okay, all right. Kind of close up on it. Seemed like too many letters for a hot second. But we should be holding each other accountable for whatever we're doing wrong. Whenever we're not standing on ma'at, whenever we're not doing things that's leading back to our way of doing things, re-Africanizing ourselves. When that European behavior show itself, you should be able to check your sister. You should be able to say, pull her coattail and say, "Sis, listen, I love you, but," and let her know the truth. You got to stand on truth. You got to stand on ma'at. And a lot of times, and I posted this question. I posted several questions on my Facebook page. And one of the questions I posted was, is accountability picking on a sister? Because I was told by several sisters, "You're picking on me." Now let's deal with that for a second. Because if we're holding a sister accountable, it's because of something she did wrong, something that's detrimental to the whole, something that's detrimental to herself as well as that sisterhood and or that community. So you addressing her about her behavior. Sis, it's not cool when you coming in and you hugging the brothers kind of tight and you kind of rubbing on them and you flirting with them and that brother married. You picking on me. Sis, no, I'm not picking on you, but you shouldn't be doing that. That brother is taken. Even if he wasn't taken, as a woman, you shouldn't be carrying yourself that way. You picking on me. When you come to her and say, "Sis, listen, we talking about doing things the African way, and we talking about socializing with our people. You don't even want to embrace the sisters that's walking in. So now she's throwing a blanket statement on all of the sisters in the sisterhood and feel like all of the sisters in the sisterhood, because of you, is antisocial. And you need to, be more welcoming and open and embracing. You're picking on me. No, sis, I'm not picking on you. So you got to know the difference. You got to know if you're studying and you know your sister loved you and she never showed you anything contrary to love. She never showed you no ill will, no ill feelings. She never acted out of malice towards you or any other sister. So when she come and address you, it shouldn't be the first thing out your mouth, you're picking on me. How about you take a moment, you breathe and look at yourself. What are you doing for that sister to let you know some things about you and constantly come to you? What are you doing? Because when somebody picking on you, somebody is coming to you with malice. Somebody is coming to you and wanting to see you hurt. Their intentions is to hurt you. When somebody is holding you accountable, somebody wants to heal you and help develop you and help cultivate you and get you on the right track. It's the difference between the two. So it's a lack of maturity in that sister for her to believe and say, you're picking on me. And the only reason how that can even take place is when all of the other sisters in the sisterhood is turning their backs whenever she do something wrong. They don't want to say nothing and they don't want to address her because of their fear, they uncomfortable with it, or because of the fact that they close to this sister and they don't want to hurt this sister's feelings. Sister, it ain't about hurting your feelings. I don't want to hurt your feelings. I want you to grow. I want you to heal. And you in error. And I got to let you know you're in error because we're about getting better here. We're about the empowerment of our people. We're about African sovereignty. And we're not going to get there when you're displaying this type of behavior and bringing it into our sisterhood. You're desecrating our sisterhood. You're not treating it sacred as it should be sacred. Sisterhood is a sacred place. It's a place that I should be able to come to and be vulnerable and heal within that place and be myself without being judged. Of course you're going to let me know when I'm in error and when I'm wrong, but not being judged because of my wrongdoing or the mistake that I made. Is how can we get better? How can we move on from this? And that's what that sister should be doing. And you got to be able to hold that sister accountable and let her know what's what. And in closing, I mentioned some components that I felt like we need to have in a sisterhood, but I definitely want to mention that within the sisterhood, I would recommend you have a mission statement. Because even in an African-centered couple relationship, you should have a mission statement. You should be able to say what it is that we're doing together, what it is that we want to achieve in this union. So in your sisterhood, you should have a mission statement. Is it just about us kicking it and just hanging out and going bowling and going skating and going to the Kevin Hart show? Is it just about that? Or are we doing something for ourselves and for our community, for our people, for our family? Because again, you're a part of the people. You're a part of the collective. So being a part of the people, you got to heal yourself too. What I always tell sisters, and it should be automatically understood, but it's not. If you're talking about healing the people, you got to heal you too. But a lot of times we're so quick to say, I got to help them. I got to do for them. I got to make sure my people good. And we neglect us. We neglect our household. And I'm saying you got to do all of that simultaneously. We're in a state of urgency. So you got to help everybody simultaneously. So we out here, we're building and we're doing stuff in the community. But at the same time, I'm doing stuff within my household. I'm making sure my family is good. I'm spending time with my mate. We're having date nights within our family. I'm spending time with my child. So what? We live in the same household together. That's not the same. Carve out that time and sit with your son or your daughter or your children and give them your undivided attention. Because most of the time in the household, we on our phones, we on Facebook, Instagram, we watching TV. Sit down, be quiet. I'm watching TV, be quiet. Mommy doing something. Give me a minute, I'm cooking. And we don't pay our child no attention. And then we're perpetuating the very same thing that we say we fighting against. The very same thing we say we want to change and create a betterment for our family, our community. We're going against that within our household. So we got to make sure we're doing right by ourselves, right by our families, right by our communities. So I would recommend that you carve out time for yourself. Allocate time to heal you. I always suggest to women, every morning or every night, one or the other or both, do your praying, do your heka, your words of power, Do your meditation. Prepare yourself for the world, because we all know it's rough, right?
Yes, ma'am.
It's not easy out here. So prepare yourself for what you're about to endure, what you're about to go through. You know, I get all types of phone calls, text messages, all types of stuff. This just happened with this family member, or this happened with somebody in the organization, and now you got to give them your undivided attention, and you got to run to their aid. And then you neglect self. And how good am I going to be for all of you if I'm not taking care of Ife? So you got to make sure you take care of self and take care of your family as well as take care of the community. And you can't just only be worried about yourself and your family and not be concerned about your community. So again, it's simultaneous. You're taking care of everybody. So you got to make sure you carve out that time. So have your mission statement, your purpose statement, and I would also suggest that you have a list of code of conduct. List what type of behavior should be within your sisterhood. Again, it should be understood. We should be honest with each other. We should study. We should love. We should be supportive. But everybody don't have the same understanding that you have. Yeah. So I would say you write that down. I would recommend you write that down. That way, and you tell her from the beginning, this is what we're doing. Each sister know that and understand that. So when she fall out of line, then that's when that accountability come in. And you holding her accountable for what she agreed to. Sis, you said, I caught you in 3 lies, you know, and we're not about lying here. I caught you in 3 lies. Because some people just lie for nothing. And be lying about petty stuff. Y'all went there and ain't going nowhere. You was in the house all day. So why you lie about that? That's nothing to lie about. You know, so you got to be able to address that sister and talk to that sister about her behavior. So that code of conduct is necessary, how we each should be conducting ourselves. I'm a part of a sisterhood, which is an extension of PLM, Pan-Afrikan Liberation Movement, and our sisterhood is called Maya Society. Within the Maya Society, we have to study. That is a requirement. So we have to do, within the sisterhood, we have 3 books that we have to read. One is for healing, and we have a book on giving you some political understanding from a female aspect. And then we have a book that's giving you some understanding on spirituality, comedic spirituality. And everybody read it at their own leisure, but they have to read. But in addition to that, because I'm not saying only read 3 books and now you know everything, you're a scholar. You have to continuously read, but also a requirement is coming to PLM's African Awareness and Critical Thinking Study class. That's a necessity. So studying is imperative because we have to begin to purge what's going on inside of us and get back to our way. Get back to our culture, what's going to aid us in fighting that disease, that malady. You know, so you got to get back to your culture because that's your defense mechanism. That's going to help defend you against everything that's taking place. So you got to have intolerable behavior. What behavior I'm not going to tolerate? I'm absolutely not going to tolerate any loose lips. Anybody gossiping, you know, anybody coming into our sisterhood and want to talk about other sisters in the sisterhood or outside of the sisterhood, because you cannot be about development if you want to sit up there and verbally bring women down. You know, so it's one thing to come and inform your sisters, okay, this is what's going on, and this is what we need to do to help the sister, and we actually coming up with a solution. We're strategizing how to aid this sister in her problem, but it's a whole nother thing to sit up there. She talk about she got a good relationship and she been with that man for 8 years, but I seen him with another sister. You know, and really beating her down and talking about what's going on as opposed to figuring out, should I tell her? You know, how we going to sit her down? You know, how we going to help her recover from this? Because I know she's going to be hurt. You know, that's a difference. So you got to know the difference between gossiping and just informing sisters. So you got to have some intolerable behavior. And I know we talked about letting a sisterhood be unbroken, but there's some sisters I would say you just got to let go of. And I'm going to tell you why. Because if you're looking at it from an African-centered perspective, and you're talking about building and evolving and developing, everybody is not going to make it. Everybody is not going to be on your page. And when I think about that, when I say that, I think about Harriet Tubman. I think about Harriet Tubman when she was carrying, what she was carrying? When she was carrying that shotgun, and she was going on a plantation to help free the slaves from physical enslavement. Everybody didn't want to come. And she couldn't make the people who didn't want to come. She couldn't say, oh, I got the shotgun in your face. And you know what master going to do with you. You know what he going to do to you. You got to come with me. Because she knew she was going to jeopardize her freedom and her safety, as well as all of the people she was attempting to save. You know, I came across some quotes that say she freed over 300 slaves, and some say she freed thousands of slaves. But we know it was many slaves. And she freed many people. But she would not have been able to free them. And she like, oh, this sister don't want to go. I got to stay here with this sister. Yeah, we're about building a sisterhood, and I'm there for you, and I want to aid you in whatever you're going through. But I'm also looking at the bigger picture. I'm looking at healing us and developing us. So it's either me and these 10 sisters going to keep it moving, to keep striving to our liberation and African sovereignty, or do I want to stick around and deal with you keep verbally abusing me and punching me and throwing shots at me? You know, I had to make a decision. I keep sitting you down, telling you about your behavior, holding you accountable for your behavior, but you're telling me I'm picking on you. So I had to make a decision. You must don't want to be here. You must don't want what we want. We was told that the Maya society was a clique. And I had posted on Facebook not too long ago, it's a clique, good or bad. What do y'all think? It's both. It could be both. All depending. So if you have your rules and you have your guidelines of the type of women that you're embracing in this, because the sisterhood, if you're talking about African empowerment, you're not going to just invite in European women. You're not going to just invite in, okay, yes, I'm going to accept you for who you are, but you have to be open and willing, if she's an African sister, to change and re-Africanize yourself. But if you're willing to, if you have that tenacious grip on your European ways, I have to make a decision. And you have to make a decision. Is this what you want? So if you want to call that a clique, then so be it. If you want to say that they are excluding me, why are we excluding you? You have to define that. You have to describe that to people. Why are you being excluded from that sisterhood? One you initially embraced? Then them sisters say they welcome you? What did you do? What wasn't you attempting to change? You wasn't willing to change. So you have to look at that. So some women don't want to change, and that don't mean to automatically hold it against her and never deal with her again. Sis, when you ready, I'm ready. Like Sister Harmony said, we always going to be here. When you ready and you want to make a change, I'm ready, and I will embrace you and I will welcome you with open arms. But until then, I got to continue to move and continue to heal and develop and aid my people. So it's definitely incumbent upon each sister to maintain the sacredness within that sisterhood and make sure that she is displaying these components within a sisterhood. And you got to make sure that you're aiding and healing your sister, not destroying your sister. You want to make sure that you assisting her in becoming a better woman, a better mother, a better provider, a better teacher, just better across the board so she can be her best. And that's our job as sisters. So I'm coming to an end, and my sister Harmony had started off with a poetic message that she felt like pertained to today's topic. And I'm going to end with a poetic message I feel like pertains to today's topic. But I'm going to need the help of my sisters. And the name of this lecture is called Breathe Life Into Me. So we're going to do a little call and response. So when I say breathe life into me, I need the woman to say breathe life into me. We're going to do it twice. We're going to do a run through. Breathe life into me.
Breathe life into me.
Breathe life into me.
Breathe life into me.
Right before my eyes, I witnessed a sister being slaughtered. Immediately, I had to pray because I was deeply bothered. I watched as she fought with all she had, and then eventually she capitulated. She wasn't able to fight off her attacker, and now she needed to be resuscitated. I held what was left of her, and I spoke Heka, which is underrated. And I said, listen, sis, I know it may seem like it's over, but you will get through this. I love you, and I'm here for you, and the divine is my witness. The Creator is almighty and powerful, and you too have this greatness. That power lies right inside. And if you're unsure how to tap into it, then allow your sister to be your guide. I know sometimes it may seem like we're giving more than what we can take, but it's up to us to decide whether to gain spiritual strength or to break. I listened as the sister took a deep breath, and I watched her stomach inflate. The sister needed my help, and I was glad I wasn't too late. I had to dig deep within me to perform verbal CPR. My words was to bring her back to life as her set did for a soul. This wasn't a physical death, y'all, but a spiritual one, which comes from uncontrolled thoughts and penetrating feelings. This was energy set in motion, which led to a spiritual killing. which comes from uncontrolled thoughts and penetrating feelings. This sister was in a desolate state and she needed my help. And I was in there with her because I am my sister's keeper. I used my love and word power for my sister to rise high like a tower. Breathe life into me.
Breathe life into me.
Breathe life into me.
Breathe life into me.
Sister spirits are slayed by anger, frustration, uncontrolled sexual desires, and other feelings from our beastly nature. Two of the most common emotions amongst us is envy and jealousy. I see it all the time, and sometimes it's directed towards me. Even though it seems often, it should never be accepted as normality. Whenever these emotions go unchecked, it's always going to end horribly. You're talking about togetherness, but your behavior contradicts African unity. You cut your side at me, and I'm truly not your enemy. Sis, while you're wasting time battling with me, we're being destroyed by European hegemony. Each and every day, I'm striving to achieve African sovereignty. Anything contrary to that, I choose not to give my time. So you say sisters talk about you behind your face and smile in your face like a frenemy. But won't you be the friend that you want me to be? Love me for who I am, challenge me to grow, and when my behind is out of line, hold me to accountability. See, if we look at this picture holistically, women is necessary to set us free. Because we are the carriers of life, the first teacher, and in some households, the only parents if you want to speak realistically. Therefore, we need to speak and behave methodically. We need to use our words not to destroy, but help heal us mentally and spiritually. And we need to lock arms with African warrior queens that's on the front line. Together we walk mighty. And when either of us get tired, I will breathe life into you, and you will breathe life into me. And that's truly how it should be on this sisterly journey. I use my love and word power for my sister to rise high like a tower. Breathe life into me.
Breathe life into me.
Breathe life into me.
Breathe life into me.
Wake up and rise up, sisters. Let the sisterhood be unbroken.